Revealed. The incredible moment a maid's touch transformed a billionaire's autistic son's life forever. Laura wiped the sweat from her brow as she stepped into the lavish Harrington estate, her heart heavy with the weight of her responsibilities. The gleaming marble floors and crystal chandeliers shone like miniature suns, illuminating the stark reality of her life, one where she scrubbed, dusted, and polished to keep a roof over her spirited daughter Lily's head. But amidst the splendor, something rare caught her eye. Alex, the Harrington's quiet son, sat alone in a sunlit corner, sketching furiously. His talent was hidden like a buried treasure, masked by social barriers that left him unnoticed. Every day after school, Lily would listen to Laura's tales of the Harrington's world, her teenage spirit ignited with curiosity. "Mom, do you think he'll ever talk?" Lily asked one day. Laura could only shrug, lost in her thoughts about the raw colors in Alex's drawings. She saw beauty in those strokes, a vibrant soul trapped within a fortress of silence. Their connection grew, a shared appreciation for the dazzling colors of sunsets that painted the sky when work was done, but the tension began to swell back home. Whispers from neighbors reached her ears, judgments delivered like daggers. "Why is Laura spending so much time with that boy?" they murmured. Lily's resentment simmered beneath the surface, each glance at her mother stinging with unspoken words. "Why help him when we can barely pay the bills?" She spat one afternoon, the hurt glistening in her brown eyes. Just as their worlds started to collide, an art showcase surfaced in the community, a chance for Alex to unveil his work. Laura felt her heart race. "I have to support him," she thought, ignoring the voice in her head that nagged about her dwindling finances and Lily's growing frustration. Alex's art could be the key to his acceptance, but would it cost her daughter's love? Days passed, filled with doubt and the weight of her choices. She discovered that Alex had poured everything into his pieces, each one reflecting a painful yet beautiful journey. Laura found herself immersed in thoughts of how Alex had the power to inspire a gift often overlooked by others. Could she truly walk between two worlds? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the day of the showcase approached, Laura stood before the mirror, anxiously adjusting her hair. The event unfolded like a dream, a community coming together, unaware of the tension brewing beneath the surface. Alex's art glowed under the spotlights, stirring applause and admiration from those who had once turned a blind eye. Tears filled Laura's eyes as she saw him shine, the quiet boy she believed in finally receiving his moment. But in the crowd, a storm brewed at home. Lily's outburst shattered Laura's hopes. "How can you stand there and help him while we struggle?" she cried, words cutting deeper than Laura ever expected. The contrast between their humble life and the Harringtons' opulence was unbearable. Now, faced with her daughter's pain, Laura felt the walls closing in. In that moment, she realized she would have to choose between two loves. Could her dedication to Alex's journey save her own bonds with Lily, or were they caught in a cycle of sacrifice and loss? The tension hung precariously in the air, stirring a whirlwind of uncertainty. Laura sat at the edge of her bed, the weight of her choices pressing down on her shoulders like a heavy blanket. Lily's words resonated in her mind, darkening her thoughts. The hurt in her daughter's voice had pierced through her resolve. Supporting Alex mattered deeply to her, yet at what cost? As dawn broke, Laura lingered in the kitchen, a mug of coffee steaming between her hands. Its warmth provided a fleeting comfort, much like the embrace of a loved one. But the glow of the morning sun filtering through the window felt different. Sunny rays danced freely across the room, highlighting everything they touched. Mom Lily's voice broke through the tranquility. She stood at the threshold, her expression a mix of defiance and doubt. When Laura turned, she was met with a storm brewing in her daughter's gaze. "Do you even care that we need you?" Lily asked, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. "Why him? Why not us?" Laura sighed, feeling the iron grip of guilt tighten as she looked at her daughter. I care, Lily. I really do. But Alex, he needs support. He has been trapped for so long in his own silence. You know how talented he is. Talent won't pay the rent, Mom. Lily yelled, her voice cracking. You're choosing him over our family. Those words hit Laura hard. But it was more than just a fight. It was a revelation. The art showcase had been more than just Alex's moment. It was Laura's too, a confrontation with her motherly instincts. But now, standing in front of her daughter, she realized that she had to face this struggle head-on. Lily, it's not about choosing one over the other. It's about finding a way for both of you to thrive, she said, desperation creeping into her voice. Can't you see that helping Alex might show the world a different perspective? One that could change how we live? Lily's eyes narrowed, frustration and hurt melding. You can't change the world, Mom, and you can't fix him with kindness. It doesn't work that way. What about us? A tense silence fell between them, heavy with unspoken feelings. Laura felt the tears welling up, threatening to spill over. And yet, at that moment, she knew she had to stand firm. I'm going to the Harringtons today. I made a decision, and I need you to trust me. Lily's face paled, indignant disbelief flashing across her features. You can't be serious. I am, Laura stated, her voice steadying. This is about showing Alex he's not alone. And maybe it's about more than that. It's a chance for all of us. Lily turned away, pain radiating from her small frame. You'll see, Mom. You'll regret this. With that, she stormed out, leaving Laura in the suffocating stillness of the kitchen, her heart racing against the backdrop of silence. With a heavy sigh, Laura gathered her things. Whatever happened today, she had to believe it was for the best. Powering through guilt and fear, she slipped on her shoes, stating a silent promise. She would try to bridge the worlds of her daughter and Alex. As she stepped into the estate later that day, a sense of dread and determination washed over her. She could almost hear the echoes of doubt surrounding her, each step toward the Harringtons both thrilling and terrifying. What awaited her behind those grand doors? Would she be able to mend the rift between her two worlds, or had she already placed everything she loved at risk? The uncertainty loomed like a shadow, pulling Laura deeper into the spiraling drama, where every choice would have profound consequences for both Alex and Lily. What lay ahead was uncertain, yet she felt the urgency to confront it, buoyed by the hope that maybe, just maybe, their paths could align in a way that honored them all. As Laura approached the towering doors of the Harrington estate, her heart thudded like a drum in a silent symphony. Each step felt weighted, fueled by the complex mix of resolve and fear swirling within her. She took a breath, brushed a lock of hair behind her ear, and reached for the polished brass doorknob. The door swung open to reveal a spacious foyer draped in elegance. A grand staircase spiraled upwards, framed by rich mahogany and adorned with family portraits that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. But it wasn't the grandeur that overwhelmed her. It was the palpable silence that loomed over the house, stretching between the polished floors and glistening chandeliers. Laura, came a voice from the shadows. It was Mr. Harrington, his demeanor a blend of surprise and unease. I didn't expect you today. I know, she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. I need to talk to you about Alex. His expression flickered, uncertainty sharpening his features. He's in his room. Are you sure this is a good idea? He's been, I understand, she interjected, her resolve hardening. But he needs support now more than ever. He needs to know he isn't alone. He nodded slowly, stepping aside to let her pass, and she felt the weight of his gaze on her back as she moved further into the house. Laura climbed the staircase, each step a prayer for courage. Memories of her daughter flickered in her mind, the stubborn fire of Lily's passion melding with Alex's soft, cautious spirit. Both of them needed her, yet they were worlds apart. How could she blend their lives without causing further pain? As she reached the door marked with a golden A, her breath hitched. She knocked softly, but it felt like a thunderclap in her chest. There was a pause, followed by the slightest shuffle within. Come in, came a quiet, hesitant voice. She opened the door, revealing a dim room adorned with sketches, each one a portal into Alex's mind. He sat at a small table, pencil in hand, surrounded by a fortress of art scattered on every surface. His eyes widened as he looked up from his drawing, uncertainty mingling with curiosity. "Alex," she started, her heart racing. "I wanted to talk." He hesitated, but then set his pencil down. "What about?" She took a moment to focus on his artwork, a vibrant depiction of a spiraling galaxy. It struck her, reflecting the chaos and beauty within him. "About your showcase and about you." He frowned, casting a quick glance away. "It's just a show. I don't need much from it." "Alex," she said softly, moving closer. "You don't see it yet, but it's not just a show. It's a chance to share how you see the world. Please don't hide your gift from everyone, especially from those who care about you." "But what if they don't understand? What if they laugh?" His voice trembled, vulnerability breaking through. "Then they don't deserve to witness your brilliance," she reassured him, looking directly into his eyes. "But you have to take that leap. You have supporters, people who see how amazing you are. I'm here because I believe in you." Tension hung in the air, thick and palpable. For a minute, time froze, and Laura could see Alex's internal battle play out across his face. Just as she felt a spark of hope ignite within her, the door swung open, and Mr. Harrington stepped inside, a mix of concern and urgency chasing across his features. "Laura, you need to," he paused. His words stalled as he took in the situation before him. Laura felt her heart race again, this time with a different kind of fear. "What is it?" "Lily," he hesitated, and the anguish in his eyes sent a chill down her spine. "What about Lily?" Panic rose in her chest as she glanced back toward Alex, who seemed eerily quiet. In that moment, all her worries about Alex's artistic journey faded. Something was wrong, and she needed to know. "Tell me," she urged, as dread settled in the pit of her stomach. And just like that, the unpredictable threads of their lives began unraveling before her, clashing violently in a way she never anticipated. What had happened to Lily? Laura braced for the worst. Laura held her breath, the seconds stretching into a taut silence that screamed for answers. Mr. Harrington's brow was furrowed with concern, his mouth opening and closing as if the right words danced just out of reach. She felt Alex's eyes drift to the floor, his expression a mix of confusion and fear. "Lily has been in an accident," Mr. Harrington finally uttered, the gravity of the statement sinking into the room like a stone thrown into still water. "An accident." Her mind blocked the thought, sending echoes of denial through her. "What kind of accident?" Her voice broke slightly, desperation flooding her tone. "She was on her way home when a car." He inhaled deeply, like he was trying to gather the pieces of the puzzle into some semblance of order. "The doctors say she's in critical condition. They're doing everything they can." Time curled around Laura, dragging her down into a mind-numbing whirlpool of thoughts. Images of Lily's laughter filled her mind, bright and warm against the cold reality settling in. The little girl she remembered, triumphantly holding her drawing, now felt like a different lifetime. But then, something deep inside her stirred. "I need to see her," she said firmly, the words igniting a flicker of determination. Mr. Harrington's expression shifted, torn between urgency and the weight of unspoken worries. "Laura, I can't just sit here. Not now. Alex needs to know." Her voice shook slightly as she turned to Alex, who remained silent, wide-eyed. "She needs us. We need to go." Alex looked up, confusion tangled with an inkling of hope. "I can come too." She nodded vigorously, compassion swirling within her. "Absolutely. It's time for both of you to be together. We don't have to face this alone." In an instant, a schism of resolve passed between them. Alex's body seemed to straighten as the weight he carried began to feel lighter beneath Laura's conviction. They were a family, however disrupted, and that bond was powerful. As they prepared to leave the room, Mr. Harrington placed a hand on Alex's shoulder, his voice softening. "Son, are you sure you're ready for this?" "I can be strong," Alex whispered, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his features. It was as if he found strength in the chaos around him, something they all desperately needed at that moment. The air thickened with tension as they made their way down the grand staircase, each step echoing the gravity of their circumstances. Outside, the evening sky was painted in streaks of orange and darkening blue, a stark contrast to the weight in Laura's heart. Arriving at the hospital felt like stepping into a different world. The antiseptic smell pierced her thoughts, the harsh fluorescent lights reflecting the anxiety that buzzed around them. The trio navigated the sterile hallways, guided only by the urgency pulsing through their veins. Finally, they reached the waiting room. It felt like a limbo, a suspended space filled with worry and muted voices. Each ticking second against the clock punctuated the silence, sending waves of fear washing over Laura. And then, there she was. A tiny figure, lying still in the hospital bed. Lily's hair spread like a sunbeam against the stark white sheets. Machines beeped rhythmically, a cold reminder of her fragility that Laura's heart shattered at the sight. Lily, she breathed, tears flowing unbidden. Alex stood a few steps back, his frame stiff, eyes darting from his sister to the machines that seemed to control her life force. But then, he took a step forward, like an invisible thread connecting him to Lily. Lily, it's Alex, he said softly, his voice breaking through the chaos enveloping them. I'm here. And with those words, something shifted. The air crackled with unspoken love, a blend of hope and grief that bound them together. In that moment, they all understood that facing the uncertainty of what could happen next was their only choice. But just as relief began to seep into their hearts, a doctor appeared, his expression professional but shadowed with urgency. Excuse me, I need to talk to the family, he said, taking a few steps towards them. Laura braced herself again, the storm inside her rising once more. What was to come? What choices would they have to make? The doctor's next words hung like a question mark in the air, waiting to change everything. The doctor cleared his throat, the sound sharper than the beeping machines. I'm Dr. Frank Navarro, the attending physician for your sister, he said, his eyes scanning their faces. He took a step closer, his gaze resting on Alex for a moment before returning to Laura. There's a lot to discuss regarding Lily's condition. Like a tidal wave, anxiety swept over them. Laura grasped Alex's hand, her heart racing. Just tell us, how is she? Dr. Navarro inhaled deeply. Lily has sustained significant head trauma. We're doing everything we can to stabilize her, but there may be complications. Complications? The word hit Laura like a punch. She struggled to steady herself. What do you mean? The impact has left her in a coma. Her vital signs are weak but stable for now, and we're closely monitoring brain activity. He paused, gauging their reaction. Right now, we need to keep her under observation. It's vital you stay hopeful, but I must warn you, sometimes comas can extend for longer than anticipated. Alex squeezed Laura's hand, his face pale. Laura could see the flickering turmoil behind his eyes. Each word piled up like weights on their shoulders, pushing down harder with every second. What are the odds? Laura asked, voice trembling. I need to know if she'll wake up. Dr. Navarro shifted uncomfortably. It's difficult to estimate recovery prognosis in these cases. I wish I could give you a definitive answer, but every patient is different. The room felt smaller, almost suffocating. Laura's breath quickened. She wanted answers. She wanted to believe in a miracle. But the reality was cruel, revealing the fragility of life that she had wished away. She turned to Lily, so small and seemingly untouched by the chaos surrounding them. You're a fighter, baby girl, she whispered. You've always been strong. Come back to us. Alex, though visibly shaken, stepped forward, his youthful determination shining through. Lily always wakes up, right? She just needs a little time. His hope pierced through the dread that filled the space. In that moment, Laura realized that the fight wouldn't just be about Lily. It would be about them, about holding onto hope and strength through the darkest nights ahead. Can we sit with her? Laura asked Dr. Navarro, her heart desperate for connection, for any comfort in that sterile room. Of course, he nodded. But please remember to take care of yourselves as well. I'll have a nurse check back in an hour. As the doctor departed, Laura and Alex moved closer to the bed. Creeping fear shadowed Laura's heart, but she forced herself to breathe. She needed to be strong. She glanced at Alex, who looked up at her with a brave expression. Do you want to talk to her? He asked softly, glancing nervously at Lily. Hesitating for just a moment, Laura nodded. Yes. We should. She can hear us. Okay. Alex's voice was steady, but Laura could see the flicker of fear behind it. They both leaned in closer, the weight of everything pressing down on their shoulders, yet determined to hold each other up. Lily, we're here, Alex said, his voice cracking. We love you. You have to wake up. We need you. Tears filled Laura's eyes as she placed her hand in Lily's, squeezing it gently. Please, sweetheart, we're not ready to let you go. Fight for us, just like we'll fight for you. In that moment, their shared connection became a lifeline, tethering them against a backdrop of uncertainty. But just then, the door opened again, and a nurse stepped in with an urgent look on her face. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but we need you to step out for a moment. There's a situation that requires immediate attention." Laura's heart raced. What now? What could possibly happen next? The reality of life and death loomed heavily, the stakes rising with each passing second. Laura's breath hitched in her throat as she and Alex exchanged worried glances. The nurse's urgency felt like ice creeping into her veins. "What is going on?" she asked, her voice a careful whisper, trembling with apprehension. The nurse maintained a professional demeanor, but there was something in her eyes, an undercurrent of concern that sent a shudder through Laura. "I can't share specifics here. Please, follow me." Reluctantly, they stepped away from Lily's bedside. Laura hesitated, unwilling to leave her sister behind, but she grasped Alex's hand tighter, feeling his fear echoing her own. They followed the nurse down the fluorescent-lit corridor, each step feeling heavier, each heartbeat echoing the uncertainty swirling within them. The nurse led them to a small waiting room, sterile and quiet. "Sit here. I'll be right back," she instructed softly before closing the door behind her. Silence wrapped around them like a thick blanket, and Laura sunk into the plastic chair, her fingers fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve. "What do you think happened?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I wish I knew," Laura replied, her heart racing with dread. What could be happening in that room? Minutes ticked by, feeling like hours. The tension brewed quietly, palpable in the air. They tried to talk, to share stories about Lily, to keep their minds occupied, but every word brought them back to the reality of the situation. Lily, lying unconscious and vulnerable. Finally, the door opened, and a different doctor stepped in, not Dr. Navarro. Laura's stomach twisted into knots at the sight of his serious expression. "Alex, Laura," he greeted. "I'm Dr. Miller, the neurologist on duty for your sister." Is Lily okay?" Laura asked, her voice edging on desperation. Doctor Miller nodded, but the gravity in his eyes remained. "We may need to look for signs of deeper complications. I want to be upfront. The situation seems complicated." Her heart thudded painfully against her ribcage. "What does that mean? What signs?" "There's been a surge in intracranial pressure. We will need to perform a CT scan to assess the situation. It's important we act quickly. Please, do whatever it takes," Laura said, the words pouring out of her like a plea. "Just make sure she's okay. I can't lose her, not now." The doctor acknowledged her, his expression softening. "We'll do everything we can. I understand how much she means to you. We'll know more once we have the scan results. I promise, we will keep you informed." The doctor didn't wait for a response before slipping out again, leaving Laura and Alex wrestling with fear and uncertainty. "What if she doesn't pull through this?" Alex murmured, his voice cracking, eyes brimming with tears. Taking a deep breath, Laura reached over, brushing her thumb across his knuckles. "We can't think like that. We have to believe she'll fight. She's a fighter, Alex. She's overcome so much already." Just then, the nurse returned. "We're ready to take Lily for the scan," she said, threading her hair behind her ear. "Would you like to come with us, or stay here?" Laura felt a surge of protectiveness. "I want to be with her," she said firmly. Alex nodded, determination filling his features. "Me too. Wherever she goes, we go?" They followed the nurse down the bleak hallway again, their hearts pounding with each step. Before they knew it, they were back in Lily's room, watching as she was wheeled away, surrounded by machines and bright lights. As they watched, a realization dawned on Laura. "We're not just holding on to hope for her," she said softly to Alex. "We're also fighting for ourselves, for our family. We need each other more than ever." Just then, a flicker of movement caught her eye, a nurse at the far end of the hall pausing to look back at them. There was something strange in her expression, an urgency that Laura couldn't place. The nurse leaned closer, her voice low. "I hear there's something more you need to know. What was it?" What could she possibly mean? Anxiety clawed at her as they waited for the revelation that might change everything. The nurse glanced around, as if ensuring no one else could overhear. "I shouldn't be doing this," but she hesitated, then continued. "Lily's been displaying some concerning signs that might suggest something more than just a spike in pressure. It's best that you're aware." Laura's pulse quickened. "What signs?" During her examination, she had a reaction that you need to know about. It's important to understand the full picture of her condition, the nurse said, her voice dropping even lower. I think it's possible she could have sustained a more significant injury than initially thought. Laura felt the floor slip beneath her, an anchor of realization pulling her under. What do you mean? Like a brain injury? The nurse nodded solemnly. We won't know for sure until the scan, but the symptoms pointed towards it. I highly recommend speaking with Dr. Miller the moment he returns. Alex's hand tightened around hers, and she could feel his fear pulling at her heart. We can't let ourselves think the worst, he murmured, but even he sounded unsure. I need to know, though, Laura insisted, suddenly fierce. Whatever it takes, we'll face it together. The nurse squeezed her shoulder gently. That's the spirit. It's a scary time, but Lily's strong. I see a lot of fighters in this place. It's part of what makes this job worth it. Laura took a deep breath, drawing strength from the nurse's words. She was grateful for the comfort, but uncertainty still gnawed at her. Thank you for telling us, she said, her voice steadying. We appreciate it. As the nurse left, Laura and Alex were left to grapple alone with the sudden weight of the new information. Do you think it's possible? Alex asked, a tremble in his tone. That something could really be wrong? Laura stared at the empty doorway, her thoughts racing. I don't know, but if she's fought through every obstacle before, she can do it again. We can't lose sight of that. She could feel the heaviness in the air, the tension like a thick fog between them. There was so much at stake, more than just their relationship, more than just Lily's fight. Do we have enough faith? She asked softly, almost to herself. Yes, Alex replied firmly, his eyes locked on hers, radiating unwavering belief. Because every moment matters right now. We have each other, and that counts. In that moment, Laura realized how something so simple, faith, brought them closer when they needed it most. You're right, she said, her chest swelling with love. We'll keep our faith alive. For her. As they braced themselves for the uncertainties ahead, silence returned, broken only by the distant beeping of machines. Then the door opened again, and this time, it was Dr. Miller. The moment Laura and Alex laid eyes on him, their breaths hitched, the tension instantly returning as they prepared for whatever came next. Are you ready for the results? The doctor asked, his face shadowed by a deeper kind of gravity. What do you mean? Laura whispered, heart pounding. Dr. Miller took a step closer, his expression unreadable. There are some things you should know about Lily's condition and about what we may be facing. The weight of his words hung heavily in the air, and Laura's heart felt like it might shatter under the pressure. What lay ahead? What truths would the doctor reveal that could change everything? Dr. Miller shifted his gaze between Laura and Alex, his hesitation almost palpable. I'm afraid the scan results are concerning, he finally said, the gravity of his tone pulling them both in. What does that mean? Alex pressed, his voice a thread of urgency. Lily's dad was always the head of the family, the strong one. But right now he felt anything but. It means there is evidence of a swelling in her brain, possibly due to trauma, Dr. Miller explained carefully. We'll need to monitor her closely, but I cannot stress enough how important it is she remains stabilized. Laura's breath hitched. Stabilized how? Dr. Miller took a moment, choosing his words. We may need to perform a procedure to relieve the pressure if it progresses. Each word landed like bricks on her heart. What kind of procedure? Is it risky? She asked, struggling to keep her voice steady. There are always risks with surgery, particularly on the brain. But the alternative, he let the silence hang, the weight of that unspoken truth wrapping around them. Alex stepped closer to Laura, his presence a shield against the storm brewing inside her. What are our options? Right now, we focus on keeping her comfortable and observing her response to treatment. I will have a team fully briefed on her situation. You will be involved every step of the way. Every step? Laura echoed, desperate for reassurance. Every step, he confirmed, meeting her eyes with compassion. You're not in this alone. You can ask questions, voice concerns, anything. Communication is key in these situations. Laura felt a little glimmer of hope fighting against the darkness. Thank you, Dr. Miller. We'll be here for her. When Dr. Miller stepped back, Laura let herself glance at the small, frail figure lying unconscious in the hospital bed. Lily's chest rose and fell softly beneath the vibrant hospital sheets, the rhythmic sound a reminder of life still there. Do you think she can hear us? Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper, as if he feared the very air might disrupt the fragile moment. I hope she can, Laura replied, moving closer to her daughter. Lily, honey, can you hear us? She leaned down, brushing her fingers lightly through Lily's hair. You need to fight, sweetheart. We're right here. You've faced every challenge before, and you will face this one too. A flicker of movement crossed Lily's face, an involuntary twitch that raised both their hopes. Did you see that? Alex's eyes were wide, filled with a mix of love and concern. Maybe she heard me, Laura said, a smile breaking through her worry. Maybe she is still fighting. But even as she took solace in that small victory, a new thought crept into her mind. Could they really navigate this? As minutes turned into hours, the waiting game took over. Time stretched, each tick of the clock loud and unwelcome. A soft knock broke the silence, and a social worker entered, clipboard in hand. I'm here to discuss resources and support for your family during this challenging time, she said, her voice calming amidst the uncertainty. Support? Laura echoed, eyes narrowing in on this unexpected lifeline. Yes, counseling, therapy for Lily, and support groups the social worker began to list, but Laura's mind raced. Would they need more than just emotional support? Is that enough? Alex murmured thoughtfully, glancing at Laura. She met his gaze, feeling the weight of the unknown ahead. I don't know, but we can't let go of hope not now. Laura's heart ached at the realization they had to strengthen their bonds if they were to face the challenges ahead. Every moment felt more precious than the last. As the nurse returned for routine checks, the air was thick with shared fear but also determination. The door opened again moments later, and a familiar face appeared. It was Lily's best friend, Sophie, her worried expression matching the gravity of the moment. Is she okay? Sophie asked, the tremor in her voice betraying her usual cheerfulness. Laura's heart sank a little. We're not sure yet, but we're here for her. And for each other. Sophie stepped into the room. Shifting nervously, I've brought something for her, a little reminder of home. Laura shot a glance at Alex, and for a brief moment, the looming darkness faded just a little. They would fight to keep hope alive. As Sophie pulled out a small teddy bear, something inside Laura stirred. A tiny spark reminded her that love had a way of healing too. But as she watched the comforting gesture unfold, a fear gripped Laura's heart. Was it enough? The weight of the question settled into the silence, and she could feel the tension building again, each second stretching unbearably. What would it take to bring their beloved Lily back to them? The room felt heavy with anticipation as the minutes crept on. Sophie held the teddy bear tightly, its stitched smile contrasting sharply with the somber atmosphere. I thought maybe she'd be like this, she said, her voice wavering. She used to love Mr. Snuggles. Remember? Laura nodded, grateful for the small gesture that tied them closer to memories of happier times. She did love him. Her heart swelled with bittersweet memories. Alex leaned down to stroke Lily's arm, his thumb brushing against her soft skin. Lily, you've got a visitor. He looked at Sophie, a silent understanding passing between them. They needed to keep her world alive, no matter how dark it seemed right now. Hey, Lily, Sophie whispered, her eyes glassy. It's me, your best friend. I brought Mr. Snuggles. He's here to keep you safe. We all miss you so much. Laura watched as a tear slipped down Sophie's cheek. It brought a wave of emotion crashing over her. This was more than just about them, it was for Lily, too. Mom, do you think she can feel us? Sophie asked, stepping closer. I believe she can, sweetheart. Love travels in so many ways, doesn't it? Laura replied, her voice thick with emotion. The beeping of the machines surrounding Lily was a constant reminder of the reality they faced, cold and clinical. But in this moment, there was warmth too, fueled by their shared hope. Suddenly, there was a change. Lily's eyelids fluttered ever so slightly. Lily? Alex leaned in, his breath catching in his throat. Can you hear us? Laura held her breath, a mix of anticipation and fear. She willed her daughter to respond. Lily, if you can't hear me, just squeeze my hand, she urged gently. A minute passed, feeling more like an eternity. And then it happened. Lily's fingers moved just a twitch, but enough to send a jolt of optimism through the room. Did you see that? Alex's voice broke with sudden excitement. Lily, if you can hear us, squeeze again. With a collective hold of breath, they waited. Time stood still. There it was, a second squeeze, stronger this time, weaving a delicate thread of connection. Tears sprang to Laura's eyes, her heart swelling with a fierce hope. "You're so strong, Lily. We're right here, baby. Just keep fighting." Sophie clasped her hands together, eyes wide. I knew she was still in there. She grinned through her tears, the childlike belief in magic holding her up. Buoyed by that small exchange, Alex and Laura exchanged glances full of renewed determination. "What if we sing to her?" he suggested suddenly. "She loved it when we sang her lullabies." "Good idea," Laura said, her heart finding a rhythm in the chaos. "Okay, let us do it." Clearing their throats, the duo began to sing the sweet lullabies they had sung to Lily since she was a baby. Their voices intertwined, filling the sterile room with warmth, as if battling against the clinical gloom that surrounded them. They sang every word with a passion driven by love, each note carrying their hopes to her. As they sang, a soft sigh escaped Lily's lips. It was faint but undeniable, a whisper of a response that filled the air with a vitality that exceeded their fears. The nurse walked in just then, her eyes widening at the scene. "What is happening?" she asked, captivated by the soft music. "We think she can hear us," Laura explained, her voice breaking between notes. The nurse stepped closer, her smile gentle. "Music can indeed soothe. I'll make sure to keep the room quiet so you can continue." Minutes turned into hours as they wrapped themselves in their song, a cocoon of love enveloping Lily, grounding them in hope. Yet, just as the air felt charged with promise, another knock broke through their fragile bubble. "Excuse me," a deep voice called out. Laura turned to see a doctor she didn't recognize standing at the door, his expression serious. "I need to discuss Lily's condition with you. There is something critical we need to address." The room seemed to shrink as tension replaced the hopeful energy. What could be so urgent? Laura's heart raced, an icy chill creeping into her veins. What would this doctor reveal? They had only just begun to feel hope. Would that hope be shattered anew? Laura faced the doctor, her heart racing as he stepped further into the room. The walls seemed to close in around her, tightening with every second of silence. "What is it?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The doctor cleared his throat, his expression serious but compassionate. "Lily's condition is delicate. The CT scan revealed significant swelling, and we need to act quickly," he said, each word striking her like the beat of a drum echoing in her ears. "Act quickly? How quickly?" Alex chimed in, his voice strained with anxiety. The fear was palpable in the air, crowding them in their little bubble of hope. "We need to perform a procedure to relieve the pressure," he said, his tone steady. "Without it, the risks to her brain health could escalate quickly." "No, she can't go through that. Not after all this." Laura felt panic rising in her chest. "What if something goes wrong?" The doctor nodded in understanding. He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a softer tone. "I understand your fears, but we also need to weigh the situation. Managing the swelling is crucial, and without this intervention, we may face more complications." Tears welled in her eyes as everything felt overwhelming. She glanced over at Alex, who was visibly struggling to hold back his emotions. "We can't lose her," she whispered, feeling the weight of the world pressing down on her. "We'll do everything we can," the doctor reassured, sensing their fear. "It's going to be hard, but this is the best chance for her survival." Taking a deep breath, Laura felt the strength of determination surge within her. "If it's what she needs, then we have to do it, Alex. We have to trust the doctors." Alex's face flickered with uncertainty at first, but then he nodded slowly, clearly understanding the gravity of their choice. "We trust them," he said quietly, finding that shared strength in the moment. "Good," the doctor said, a hint of warmth creeping into his tone. "I'll prepare the team and keep you informed every step of the way." As he turned to leave, Laura felt her heart flutter in her chest. "Wait," she called, and the doctor stopped. Will she be okay?" The doctor paused, and for just a second, the heaviness lifted from his features. "We're going to do everything possible. Trust that your love will carry her through this." Those words hung in the air, anchoring her in this storm. And in that moment, she understood love indeed had a power beyond anything they could imagine. It was a deep-rooted desire that echoed in their family, a bond that could break barriers and mend hearts. With the doctor leaving to prepare for the procedure, the room filled with an anxious silence. Alex squeezed Laura's hand, and she felt the warmth of his grip provide comfort against the tides of uncertainty crashing around them. Lily, we're right here with you, Laura whispered, moving closer to her daughter. We love you so much. You're our fighter, baby. Please come back to us, she urged, tears streaming down her cheeks. And in that moment, with hope hovering in the air, Lily's fingers twitched like a gentle reminder of her spirit refusing to let go. See that? She can hear us, Alex exclaimed, his voice filled with joy. Just then, they heard the sound of footsteps approaching. The nurse walked in, giving a nod of encouragement, her smile brightening the tense atmosphere. In just a moment, we'll be starting the procedure. You can be right there to hold her hand through it, if you'd like. Love is powerful, she said, echoing the doctor's sentiment. We will, Laura said, her resolve strengthening. We'll be every step of the way. As they positioned themselves beside Lily, holding her fragile hand within their own, the room felt charged with energy, with a mixture of fear and hope swirling in the air between them. Love's presence filled the sterile surroundings, a reminder that they were united in this fight. Stay strong, Lily. We're right here, Laura said softly, brushing her fingers against her daughter's cheek. You can do this. We believe in you. With hearts fused in unison, they braced for the procedure. Ahead, every heartbeat felt like a promise, a vow to be together, facing whatever came next, unfurling their wings of hope. As they watched the medical team prepare, Laura felt a sense of calm settle over her. They may not know what was ahead, but facing it together as a family was the triumph they would carry in their hearts. In that moment, they understood the deepest truth of all. Love was the strongest force in their lives. And together, they would navigate the storm one heartbeat, one moment, one cherished reminder at a time. You need to subscribe now to our channel for more heartwarming stories and exclusive content that lifts the spirit. Leave a like now to supercharge the algorithm and help us continue sharing these inspiring journeys. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about Lily's incredible fight. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and the power of love. Let us spread hope together.